going to look to factorise these expressions, and this time they're going to factorise into double brackets. How do we know that they will factorise into double brackets, or that we should try factorise them into double brackets at least? Well, it's because there's no common factors between all the terms, okay? If we have x squared minus 5x and 6, there's no common factor there that we can draw out of each term. So we're not going to get some sort of single bracket expression with someone multiplying the whole bracket on the outside. So we try this factorisation method. It doesn't always work. Obviously, if a question says factorise this expression, there will be a factorisation. But in some cases, when you deal with quadratics further down the line, you might try factorising, you might not be able to. But the more practice you do with these, then you'll start to notice when this isn't possible. So in these cases, we have an x squared coefficient of 1 every time, because that makes it slightly easier, but we will look at the cases where that coefficient is not 1. And what do I mean by coefficient? So the x squared coefficient is the number multiplying the x squared, and the x coefficient is the number multiplying the x, and then the constant coefficients, any constants we're left with. So for this first example, the x squared coefficient is 1, the x coefficient is minus 5, and the constant coefficient is 6. So what we do is we'll write out our double bracket setup. We know that to get this x squared we must have two x's multiplied together, so we have an x here and an x there. We also have this 6 here, and the two constants that we have here, from our practice of expanding our brackets, we know must multiply to make 6, so they must either both be positive or both be negative. But this term in the middle is negative, and this term's formed by multiplying a constant here by x and multiplying this constant here by this x and adding them together. So if this is negative, we know that both these constants must be negative then, otherwise it's impossible to get this negative number. So we could have minus 1 times minus 6, but that would give us minus 7, so that doesn't work. And then the only other case we could have is minus 2 and minus 3. So we put that in, and that's our answer, and you can double check by expanding this out. So you get x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6. The minus 2x minus 3x is minus 5x. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. This one here, again, we've got our x's. Right, and because this constant term on the end is negative, we know that one of these must be negative and one must be positive, because the only way you can do a multiplication and get a negative number is in this format. Okay, two positive numbers multiplied together is positive, two negative numbers multiplied together is also positive, so we must have one positive and one negative. And now we're looking for factors of 18. 1 and 18, that's not going to work. We could have 3 and 6, that's not going to work. We're going to look at having 9 and 2, and 2 minus 9, well that doesn't work because we get a minus 7, but it's a good start because we are 7 apart, but we don't want this minus 7, we want plus 9 minus 2, so we get 9x here minus 2x. Okay, and as you can see, there's no real concrete way to do these, it is just trial and error, but we're looking for the factors, and then we're looking to find those which add up to this term in the middle. Here, again, start the same way. And notice this is where having 1 as our x squared coefficient makes this slightly easier, because we can always start knowing this is the case, what we write out at the start, which saves us a little bit of calculation we might have to do in some other cases. Okay, and here again we know we've got a plus and a minus sign, because we've got a minus number on the end here, and we're looking for factors that differ by 1, so we're going to have 5 and 4, we know that, but which order should they go in? Well, because this is positive, we want plus 5 to get 5x minus 4x, which gives us positive 1x, okay? And again, always check these by multiplying them back out again. Final one, we've got x and x. So multiplying, we know we've either got 2 positive signs or 2 negative signs, but added together we're getting a positive, so we must have 2 positive signs. And in this case, the factors of 4 are either 1 and 4, but that adds up to 5, or 2 and 2, which does add up to 4. So that's our answer, and we can in fact write this as x plus 2 squared. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hopefully these examples helps you get some practice with this technique. Like I say, we're going to move on to slightly more difficult cases in the upcoming video, so if you didn't get this, make sure you find some practice questions that are similar to this and keep practicing them until you get this down. And then we're going to look to use some of the techniques we've used by factoring and expanding brackets to actually solve equations. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.